Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in for another Len and Lindsey legal marketing rant brought on by Optimize My Firm. And we have some things that are on our mind for this week that we want to rant all about. So, taking a look at our list, the first thing that we're talking about this week is a giant mishap with a giveaway. Law firms are always looking for the next way to get prospective clients' attention, and they do this with scholarships and social media and all sorts of crazy things going on. And Len, tell us all about this $500 giveaway disaster.
Think it's $500. I can't say who or where, but somewhere, and I have no idea who this is, but somebody out there runs a $500 giveaway, and it's called like Find the Money or something. And they will stir up hype on social media, and they'll say, hey, something to the effect of, hey, stay tuned to our Instagram page. And at some point this week, we're going to give away a clue to find $500. And they eventually drop the clue, and people go hunt for the $500. So, what some personal injury attorneys might forget is $500 is a lot of money to some people. That could be like 2 weeks' paycheck, that could be rent, it could be grocery or car payment. And somebody we know of did this and people went nuts. So they got their social media engagement, but a lot of people came out looking for the $500, and it was really bad. The $500 was found quickly. The people who did not get $500 were unruly, and so they started doing donuts in their cars. There was major safety concerns. There may have been some shots fired into the sky. It was chaos, and they
Oh
very
my gosh.
quickly said, "Hey, we never want to do anything like this ever again." And it's a really, really, really nice law firm that would never do anything crazy. It's a family business. It's been that way for 50 years, and yeah, it just went really, really bad. The person organizing it should have said, "Hey, by the way, this is how this has worked in the past," and given them a heads up for potential issues. But yeah, anyways, don't do that.
Yeah, yeah, or else you might be completely blindsided by the chaos that ensues. For $500 is a lot of money. Like that's huge. So finding other ways to get attention or yeah, just don't do
Or
that.
maybe just not getting attention at all. I'm a big fan of not using social media. So
Right, because just because you have attention, it doesn't equate to clients. So you might get
that's
a
right.
lot of buzz, but it's gonna be buzz probably from the wrong people who are probably just gonna forget your law firm after the event
Mhm.
is gone anyway. So invest that in getting a very nice backlink for your website so that you can rank a little bit higher. So there are other ways to do this that are probably gonna leave a longer lasting impact and won't get you shot. So next on our list is something kind of a little bit more technical that some of you guys may have noticed or have gotten an alert about that you might not understand. So, LSA platforms. This is a pay per call platform that Google has. It's an ad that you can buy through Google. It is different from pay per click. This is just a pay per call platform. Some of you guys might have experimented with this before. We've seen a lot of law firms have mixed results in general with the LSA platform. And now they are transitioning it and making some changes that might impact if you are manually operating it yourself, that you might see. But they just issued out an update that they're going to be making some changes. Len, do you want to dive into what those changes look like?
They quietly mentioned on the Google Help site that the LSA is going away. LSA, as we know, it's going to continue to exist, but the LSA platform is going to leave, and it will now be housed under Google Ads. People will start getting notifications about this. They said probably in August at some point. And So LSA will exist. It's going to be under Google Ads, the Google Ads platform. And I don't know. They put out this really confusing, gigantic page of gibberish. It's really hard to read between the lines. I think it's basically going to remain the same, but be a little bit more complicated to manage. And the bidding structure changed a little bit, but it didn't change too much. So there's changes is coming.
Right. And so what it looked like overall with the changes is that there's going to be less control that you have over the bidding process. So now it's going to essentially adhere to a budget and it's going to average it out over the day or average it out over the week. And maybe you'll pay more on one day and less on another day, but essentially it'll adhere to your monthly budget and come out to roughly the same number. I think this is in line with the dynamic pricing and the bidding and days that have higher competition levels and more volume. It's just a little more convoluted and you have less control over it than ever. Len, do you think that these changes are going to impact how useful the LSA platform is?
Hoping it's a positive change right now. Probably about 80% of personal injury attorneys get no leads through LSA. And that sucks because we've got a few clients who get a lot of leads through LSA. And the pricing's all over. We know people in Oklahoma that get personal injury leads for 80 bucks. Over near Los Angeles, it's more like 670. So the pricing's all over. I think the pricing will stay all over, but hopefully people get more of a chance to show up in the LSA. The section at the top of Google, the sponsored results there.
Yeah, and I know that we've played with the LSA pricing for our clients, and it's been all over the board in terms of how effective that is. Where, I mean, we've maxed out the budget, and that still doesn't help our clients to show up. So maybe as they're going in and changing how the bidding is done and changing how the pricing is done, hopefully they will recognize some of the issues that have come up in the past and maybe level the
We found
playing
the
field a bit more.
max. The most you can bid is $30 million per week. And we have clients that have their budget set to $120 million a month, and they still get zero leads. So Google's really shooting themselves in the foot and leaving money on the table by not showing those ads. And there's nothing wrong with the account. It's set up properly. But yeah.
But hopefully they've been pouring their efforts into whatever this transition is and fixing some of those issues. With technology, you never know what bugs might pop up. But hopefully they're resolving some of the issues. So next thing on our list, we're going to talk about something that was exciting for my week because we don't want to be super Debbie Downer over here. I want to do celebrate something that does an opportunity that comes up just through day-to-day operations. I had somebody reach out to me this week saying that they were interested in expanding their law firm, exploring a new vertical. They listened to one of my podcast episodes and thought, wow, this other law firm that I was interviewing really has their act together in this particular vertical. And one of the things that I love to celebrate is making connections. So for me, I was able to take this guy who called me because he really thought my podcast was cool, our podcast was cool, and connect him with the law firm that I interviewed on there so that he could talk through some really big ideas that he had in exploring some new verticals, some new case types that haven't been really dug into. So for me, that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I think a lot of personal injury attorneys are willing to share information. There's one exception to that. There's a place in Houston, Texas, and we were using a firm, and there's a firm in California, and we're both using the same. They're making social media ads, and the ads are really expensive. They charge $250,000 to make these ads, and we just wanted to talk to this other firm and ask them how their experience was with this media company, and the media company connected us, and that that guy's like, "What's in it for me?" I'm like, "What?" But other than that one person, a lot of attorneys are usually really happy to share information. The one company you'd interviewed was in North Carolina. This other person's in Washington State. And they wanted to talk about eminent domain. And the North Carolina attorney was happy to share their experience, which is good because it's only a matter of time before the guy in Washington needs to refer a case to a lawyer in North Carolina. So like I don't know why they wouldn't stay on good terms. But yeah.
Well, and I mean, there's nothing to lose in it. If you have a law firm that's operating out of a couple of states and there's somebody in a different market entirely that's doing something in a neat, innovative way that, you can essentially expand your reach to help more clients, make the world a little bit of a better place. So, and I find that personal injury attorneys in general tend to have that mindset where they're in this to help people at the end of the day, and that extends beyond their clients and definitely extends to other attorneys as well. So if you have listened to any of my podcasts and you want an introduction to anybody that I've interviewed, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to at least try to make that connection for you and expand your reach. So something else that, all right, we're gonna go back down on the downer trail because this is a
Content?
rant. All right, Len, did you want to? I think your
Is it
base
a
said something.
content rant?
This is gonna be the content rant.
Okay. So what is unique content? We get say all the time. Sometimes it's hard for us to describe. I was trying to think the other day, what are a few things that can make content unique? And
Well,
so many
let's
people.
let's rewind this real quick.
Okay.
I want to set some context here
Okay.
because for those who might not know everything that goes into SEO, there are two big things that go into SEO. One is content for your website, and we're not talking about blogs and like that. What are the 10 things you do after a car accident crap? We're talking about like the actual meat of your website. And the other thing is backlinks. And so, in order for your website to rank really well, you need to have exceptional content and exceptional backlinks. And right now, there with the influx of AI, there's a lot of just AI slop out there that is starting to take over the market and starting to take over legal websites, and especially with other legal SEO
A
agencies.
whole bunch of legal SEO agencies out there that are now exclusively using AI to create content. And we know this because we've been trying to hire a writer lately, and a lot of them are coming to us from these other agencies saying they've moved to AI, which is tempting. We've got, Claude Fable and Open Claw bots, and you can tell it, hey, make me, and 1 minute later, it pops an article out. And you can actually interface that with WordPress now and tell the AI to go publish it, like you don't have to do anything. But all the AI can do is regurgitate what's already out there.
Yes, and that's really problematic because historically Google has penalized anybody who's trying to take shortcuts. And now that we have AI, which is a massive shortcut, which is just essentially regurgitating what else, the other content that's already online. It's just slop, it's crap, and it's not unique. It's providing some relevant information, but it's not meeting Google's goal of providing the most accurate, relevant, up-to-date information for people. And it just can't do that. So, what we need to give our clients in these competitive markets is unique content and high
But how
level
do we make
content.
unique content?
And now let's get to the point of
Okay.
what actually goes into creating unique content that AI just can't generate.
I thought of three things. One would be, or together we thought of these. There's local content. So there's hyper local issues. You can get local pictures, your own photography, which is surprisingly cheap. A local issue would be we had an attorney in San Francisco, and it turns out the Uber drivers pull into the bike lane to let passengers out, and the passengers open their door, and the cyclists hit the door, and they go flying over their handlebars, and they break their face. So the which is terrible, but the passenger and the Uber driver are both liable for it, and they might feel bad and like, oh my gosh, look at that guy on his bike, and they just drive away. They don't realize they're responsible. So that was some hyper local content that really helped that particular client. Another thing would be so anything hyper local. Um, Personal case stories and insights and lived experiences. So, like, let's say you have helped, you've got a really great story about a wrongful death case and somebody's loved one was supposed to be supervised at a memory care facility, and they walked out of the memory care facility and drowned, which is actually something that happened with one of our clients. So just having that story, or a story, or talking about a recent settlement, or inserting a story somewhere into the content is amazing. A lot of lawyers don't write their own content, so if they have made a video about this, the content writers can elaborate on that story and put it in the content. And the third thing is perspectives. I just kind of made a bullet point of it the other day. Any unique perspectives? What do you think about that?
I like that. And I think that that's important to consider because when we're developing content for a website, let's say that it's a motorcycle accident page, you need to be able to incorporate multiple perspectives in this. So I mean, this page isn't just for a motorcycle rider who has been in an accident. This isn't somebody who just broke their arm. It could be for them, but it could also be for their spouse as they are trying to navigate the hospital experience for the downed rider. It could be for the surviving family members if they have lost a loved one in this motorcycle accident. So, being able to take into account multiple perspectives at a time and be able to reflect that tonally throughout the content is something that is really uniquely a human experience. And yes, you can do like empathy mapping and all this bull crap that the AI generated um, content writers will tell you all about. But at the end of the day, you need to be able to put yourself in their shoes in a authentic human way. Because I mean, people will just be able to see through the AI generated content and recognize that they're not dealing with someone human when they are going through one of the most troublesome crisis points of their life. So being able to incorporate the perspective to truly empathize with whoever it is that's reading that page is something that is unique and I think can only really be done by human.
Yeah, so I think moving forward, AI answer engines, if you want to call them that, and search engines will reward unique content even more than they do now.
Yeah.
Google's already started penalizing sites that use AI generated content. You don't get a penalty just for having some AI generated content, but if there's nothing unique about it, they don't care. And there's some websites doing AI content at scale, and they're most definitely getting whacked. It doesn't take very long either. They're getting crushed in like 90 days. It's pretty wild.
Well, and if you think about, the trajectory of SEO, as you and I often do, and attorneys might not, whenever you have a shortcut and people all jump on that shortcut
Right.
bandwagon, it's only a matter of time before that shortcut gets penalized. And this is something that we saw with keyword stuffing. Like that was, the rage. If you put personal injury lawyer into this page 50 times, then yes, at first you will show up, and then all of that work will be for naught because now your site's penalized. Or you
Yeah,
go out and get
absolutely.
cheap backlinks that are just absolute crap and they're not relevant to your site. They're, $10 a piece and you get, thousands and thousands and thousands of backlinks. Yes, that worked for a couple of years. And now all those backlinks are getting penalized. So I see if I were to make a prediction, I would say, within the next couple of years, all of the work and content that people are putting into their site right now that's being generated by AI will ultimately get flagged and meet the same fate. So
Yeah,
for
no,
our
it's
business,
already happening. Yeah, in 2026, lots and lots of those sites are getting crushed from using AI content.
yeah. And it's just going to get worse over time. So I mean, at Optimize My Firm, our philosophy has always been to do things the right way, to get great content, get great links, build up credibility, and provide good information. And Google will always reward that. And
Yeah,
so,
on the
yeah.
well, I get a quick rant about AI generated content. On the high end, I've seen, if you're using Claude Fable 5 and asking a very straightforward question like what's the dog bite law in Ohio, AI will probably spit out a pretty accurate response. A funny example is I saw a website somewhere and they were talking about golf cart accidents. And the golf cart accident page should be, I live in an area where you can drive a golf cart. We don't have golf courses, right? You can just drive a golf cart on the road. So any golf cart accident's going to involve a car hitting a golf cart, and the person on the golf cart is going to get severely injured. AI wrote this page about golf cart injuries, and it was horrible. It said, at first it gave out wrong information. It said you can't use them at night, which you can. It made up a speed limit, which doesn't exist. And then the icing on the cake was it said if you get injured using your golf cart to split trailer parks, give us a call. And it repeated it like two or three times in the article. If your golf cart is used to split a trailer park,
What the
give
heck does
me
that mean?
it means nothing. It's just a bunch of AI gibberish. So sometimes the AI spits out weird things. And then of course the rest of the article was about getting injured on a golf course, which had nothing to do with anything. There's no golf course there in that city.
It's just
And
completely irrelevant.
yeah, so like anybody reading that is going to think, wow, this lawyer is really an idiot. And I'm
At
not going
best, they might be on
to.
something.
Yeah. So, yeah. And that page did get crushed. That website did lose traffic. That's why I was looking at that site as somebody said, hey, this site lost a lot of traffic. Can you see why? And like instantly, we could see the whole thing was AI generated. There are marketing agencies out there saying, hey, look at us. We use AI to make your website. And like, some of them have tricked people into funding them. There's a couple of them out there that have 10 or $20 million in funding from dumb investors who didn't want to, they had fear of missing out of the AI movement or whatever, and they have paid for these people. So they advertise all over Facebook and they say, hey, we're going to use AI to build your website for you. Like, oh my gosh, like, so do not ever pay for something like that. If you want to use AI, you can do it yourself for free, but like don't do that.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely not. And I mean, it should go without saying that anything that you generate with AI, definitely have a look over it. Don't trust it. There are so many law firms out there that have had huge issues with people trying to do casework using AI, and
Oh
AI
yeah.
will hallucinate previous cases. I'm sure you guys have all heard the horror stories there. But yes, there are great applications for AI. We use it internally here and there for some help doing research, but yeah, just take it with a grain of salt still. Even though there have been great advancements with it, it's still not completely reliable to say the least.
Of all the things AI can do, writing content is like probably the worst. It's the worst at it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It can detect, it's going to change the world. It can, it found, it does a lot of cool things, but like writing personal injury content, it's not very good.
No, it's just if you can't find somebody to write good content, I mean that's just laziness at this point. It's kind of robbing humanity of its basic abilities. So I mean, I'm getting a little too existential here, but find somebody who is going to actually write your content and use their brain to do it. All right. That covers everything that I wanted to rant about, Len. Anything
That's
else on
enough.
your
That's enough ranting for now.
That's enough ranting for today. Do you guys have anything that you have questions about? Feel free to reach out to me or Len at optimizemyfirm.com.